You're listening to the Future Tech Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies such as artificial intelligence, stem cells, 3D printing, gene editing, Bitcoin, blockchain, the microbiome, quantum computing, virtual reality, and exploring space are much closer than you might think. In fact, many early versions of these technologies are in play right now, and the companies that are using these technologies are the focus of this podcast. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a thorny medical problem. Remember, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about it. Thank you. Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech and Future Tech Health podcasts, and I have Kevin Houston. He's the head of execution, even though he's not an executioner, at a company called Rem Fit. The website
how are you?
Rem Fit, R-E. Yeah, good. Yeah, just for listeners at the beginning, we'll say it at the end too, but Rem Fit, the website is remfit.com. So, Kevin, thanks for coming.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just telling Kevin my night's sleep was interrupted by my barking dogs, and so I'm glad to talk to you about your sleep products. So what does Rem Fit do?
Rem Fit is all about sleep and recovery technology. So maybe the last 3, 4, 5 years, recovery has become this huge buzzword that people are hearing. And we believe sleep is the most important piece of recovery. And whether you're trying to recover from a day at work, a stressful situation in your life, or a workout, recovery matters, and sleep has to be the most important part of that recovery. So we started Rem Fit about 5 years ago. We realized there was all this tech coming into different parts of our lives, and that sleep hadn't been touched yet. So we just started diving in deep and figuring out how can we use today's tech to make Americans and people all over the world sleep better. And we've come a long way in 5 years, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So what kind of technology has Rem Fit come up with? Pillows, mattresses,
Yes.
Sleep-inducing devices?
Well, so most of the time when people hear technology, they think about, cell phone apps, smart devices, stuff like that. And we certainly have a few of those. We have about 9 different sleep trackers that we've developed in-house, and one that we've partnered with another company on. And sleep tracking is all about the idea that you have a hard time getting an honest assessment of your own sleep, because typically you're either groggy or asleep while it's happening. So we dove in with sleep tracking, and then about 2 years ago, we made our first product that's an active participant in your sleep, and that's the Zeek Smart Pillow. Zeek Smart Pillow is all about not just tracking what's going on, but changing the environment around you and changing you so that you can actually sleep better. So it's the first ever active participant in your sleep. So it's a really cool device.
Well, can you talk more about it and describe how it works and what it does?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Zeek, the cool thing about it is it's Alexa integrated and it's IFTTT integrated. So that's if this, then that technology. And I'm sure your listeners are pretty tech savvy, but IFTTT is basically the universal language that allows smart home devices to all talk to each other. So if companies like ours make a product, we don't have to specifically share APIs and communicate with all these individual companies. As long as we're using that common language, we can talk. So with Zeek Smart Pillow, we can set things up. Like once you set your alarm, if you have a coffee maker that's smart home enabled, we can have the coffee turn on before your alarm. We can have the heated floors in your bathroom turn on and heat up before you get up to get ready for your day. We can draw the shades back. We can change the humidity on your thermostat based on what's going on with your sleep or with your wake up patterns. So we can really almost entirely affect the smart home through just a smart pillow. And we believe, smart home has some basic milestones throughout the day. When are there people home and awake? When are there people home and asleep? And when is there no one home? And your pillow can really control a majority of those major milestones and let your house know what's going on to the people in it. So it's a cool device, and we're just, scratching the surface with it.
But why the pillow? I understand, why not the bed, or why not why not the pillow and other things in the house? I mean,
in my house, I'm not just sleeping or not sleeping or in the bed or not. What about my toothbrush or other stuff?
Sure. I think the pillow is an interesting place. First off, our background is bedding. So it was an easy jump for us to, get into the smart home world through bedding. When you think about making a smart mattress, the problem with that is mattresses are very, very personal items. And there's some enormous companies out there that are doing a lot of stuff in the mattress side of the house. And to compete on that level is really challenging for a startup like us. So a pillow, when you can get a comfortable pillow, I mean, that's worth, research shows about 40% of your sleep comfort comes from your pillow. And it's such a lower price point. Pillow, we can sell ours at, $150. It's a really comfortable pillow with all that tech packed in. Whereas to do that with a mattress, it's going to be a $3,000 or $4,000 mattress. And it's really, we're cutting the market segment. So we want to make this accessible to as many people as possible. And it was really just, like most inventions, it came out of, we were trying to solve a problem for ourselves personally. And, 2 years later, we had this beautiful smart pillow to show for it. So,
All right, so what are some of the features of the pillow that make it a great pillow? You can communicate with other devices, but, what is it?
yeah.
You can turn on your coffee maker, heat your floors, but what about the pillow itself? What does it do?
So well, the first thing about the pillow that's important is that we've wrapped it in a thoughtful material. It's wrapped in a material called Tencel. Tencel is a wood pulp derivative. It's naturally antimicrobial. It's also a cellular fiber. So, we talk about technology with electronics, but technology in textiles is an important part of what we do too. So by using Tencel, it's cool to the touch, it's moisture wicking, it's 4-way stretch. It's kind of a perfect material to stretch on, or rather to sleep on. And what I tell a lot of people when I'm explaining this is, our parents' generation, they worked out in cotton shorts and a cotton t-shirt. And no one's silly enough to do that anymore, right? Everybody's wearing performance gear. But we're still sleeping on cotton sheets. And it's the exact same problem. I mean, you have everybody sweating. Some people drool. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the bed. And it's great to have a natural, antimicrobial, breathable material. So that's the start. That's a removable, washable pillowcase that goes on it. But I kind of alluded earlier, pillows are super comfortable. So we made the Zeek infinitely adjustable. We use the chipped memory foam, and there's a compartment above and below the electronics. And what that allows is you could pull out a little, you could put in extra filling, which we provide in the packaging. You can move all the filling from the bottom to the top. You could play around with the filling and kind of customize this pillow to your liking. And then the other feature that really is the most popular feature is music streaming. So we live in a world where we're connected to our devices 24/7. With the smart pillow, the Zeek, you're actually going to be able to Bluetooth your shows that you're watching, or some white noise, some binaural beats, some guided meditation, whatever it may be, straight to your pillow. And so many of us have someone next to us at night that isn't listening to the same thing we are. So it's a way for you to listen in your own individual ecosystem to whatever you want to listen to without having to wear earphones or headphones or anything like that, which are obviously going to be uncomfortable as you're moving around the pillow. So we've really packed a lot into this Zeek smart pillow.
So is it launched yet, or are you still in the phase where you're making the device and it's not out yet?
Yeah, so that's the good news. We launched it maybe 14 months ago. We launched a campaign on Kickstarter. We actually sold, we hit our goal in 36 hours, and we sold over 500,000 on Kickstarter. We fulfilled all of those within a few months. We made our next run, and we're actually on our third run of pillows now. And what that's allowed us to do is, anytime you invent a product and invent a segment, really like a smart pillow, it's very expensive. So this product launched at $299, and to me, that's a steal. If it works for you, it's really good value. But we've been able to drop that now on our third run of pillows. We've cut that price in half because we finally got up to scale, and we're moving a lot of pillows. So we're able to offer a much more competitive price these days at $149. But we've been selling it for a few years, and we're getting a lot of great feedback, and it's constantly improving. It's a software-based interface. So as we push improvements through the software, even the original purchasers are getting those upgrades. That's a really good thing.
So what other products in addition to the pillow you're working on, or is that plenty?
Yeah, well, for sure that's enough. And I think, we like to play a lot of different games at Rem Fit. We put a lot of our energy into our sleep tech. We have some non-wearable stuff. that we're working with some professional sports team on that are a little more precise in terms of respiratory rate, heart rate. We also have some like entry level, if you're looking to get into basic sleep tracking, some that are a really low level price point. But the other thing that really matters is back to that textile piece of it, making pillows and making mattresses that are taking advantage of the textiles of 2019. So that's something we really pride ourselves in, whether it's weaving in like polyethylene with Teflon to create a cool to the touch mattress, or changing the density and shapes of mattresses to actually fit the human body. We're experimenting with a lot of different things. We're pretty passionate about sleep, and we look at it as a system that's fairly stale. It's a white rectangle, and we've all seen the millions of ads and hundreds of stores in our hometown, and like everybody's selling the same white rectangle, and the body's a really dynamic, piece of equipment, if you will, and it's shaped anything but flat. So we're playing with a lot of things, including the concept of making shaped mattresses and really diving into each individual layer of textiles to make sure that we're taking advantage of what we've learned the last 40 years and putting it into mattresses.
Okay, well, that's great. So what's ahead for you for this next year? What kind of new innovations are coming, or what's going to be launching, or just more of the rollout of the pillow?
Yeah, so the big thing this year for us, so it's actually 2019 is a huge year for Rem Fit. We've spent the first kind of 4 years as like an R&D brand, really pouring a lot of money into the product development, figuring stuff out, and we probably about 5-6 months ago broke off from the company that founded us, and a few of us came along for the ride, and now we're like a really small, really nimble company. So we're direct consumer for the first time ever. That's our only game. So that's really cool. We're launching a pillow line that's traditional pillows that builds on our existing line in 2019. So that'll be out any day now. That might actually be out by the time this podcast airs. And we're looking to completely release a new mattress line in the fall of 2019. So we're kind of finishing up all of our runs and testing it out. We have about 100 different prototypes out with some of our testers. So we're finishing that up, and I think probably by the fall of 2019, you'll see a fully new mattress collection on remfit.com, which will be really exciting for us.
Oh, very cool. So you're going to focus on mattresses and pillows. Any other aspects of sleep that you see, add-ons to the pillow that are going to, or maybe feedback from people in Kickstarter, like what features do they tend to like the most? Maybe this surprised you or not, I don't know. Which features are not very important to them?
So the funny thing, here's a funny comment that we get a lot, and we did about 60 different pop-up shows around the country over the last 2 summers to get our products out in front of people and kind of listen to their feedback. And we take all the data and we aggregate it, and we're nerds at the end of the day. So we like crunching the data. And we came back, and one of the most common negative feedbacks that we got from our pillows is that they're heavy. And the reason that that's funny is because you don't lift your pillow up when you're sleeping on it. So that's something that, we
may
look
flip
at
it
all
over.
Comments. Right.
Yeah, when you're sleeping, you may flip it over or something. Or move it. But.
It's about 7 pounds. It's not actually heavy. It's
wow.
So yeah, so we take all those comments pretty seriously, and we're constantly tweaking our products, almost like a shoe company is going to come out with new shoes every year, but they don't rename it. We have our mattress and pillow lines, which we actually tweak on the fly, and that's a pretty huge advantage of being a really small company. Is our owners will literally respond to emails and feedback on Facebook and Amazon and all of that. Like, we take a really personal approach in interacting with our customers. So, we get feedback like, the app interface. We get feedback that people wanted more guided meditations on Zeek. We add in stuff like that. When we get feedback like your pillow's a little heavy, we kind of laugh, and there's really no way around that to make a quality pillow. One of the things we like to joke about is like, we can go get a pillow at Kmart that's 1.5 pounds, and it's going to fall apart pretty quickly. Like, unfortunately, our pillows are heavy because they're made of really high quality materials. But yeah, and I think the big thing for companies like us, something we're focusing on, is collaborating with other leaders in the industry. So if it's, biohacking sleep is something that we're really interested in right now. It's not our core competency. So, we're partnering with other companies where we're looking at, does taking GABA at night not just alter your mood, but help you sleep? If you're taking low dose, microdosing ZMA, for example, can you actually hack into your REM cycles and increase your REM cycles? Timing of eating.
You said microdosing what?
ZMA. So it's zinc, magnesium, and I'm drawing a blank on what the A is for. It's basically the science world found ZMA about probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's zinc, magnesium, and aspartate. And what they realized is combining these three things is a really nice metabolic boost, manages your muscle recovery, muscle health, and really your sleep. Like if you take ZMA, you'll sleep really well. The downside is ZMA, if you don't get a full 8 hours of sleep, leaves you feeling pretty groggy. So, we're playing with a lot of the companies behind the scenes to see, can we chase things like ZMA, whether full dose or microdose? Can we chase things like GABA? If you want to get into even, marijuana is becoming legal more and more across the country. What are the adverse effects of that on sleep? What are the benefits of that on sleep? We're trying to partner with a lot of companies to make sure that we're a good resource, and that if there's something out there that it makes sense to be a part of, we want to be a part of it. Our expertise is in technology, building apps, building really comfortable beds and mattresses. But 2019, there's a lot of really cool stuff happening that we want to be a part of through collaborations with some of these supplement companies and biohacking companies to make sure that we're getting information to our customers that's helping them out. Once we sell someone a mattress, our interaction with the customer isn't over. We want to continue to provide them with information via our blog. We want to continue to help them sleep for the next 8 years, 10 years, 15 years until they're ready to buy another mattress. And then we've earned a loyal customer, hopefully, and they come right back to us and get another mattress.
All right. Well, very good. So what's the best way for people to find out more about Rem Fit and keep in communication?
Yeah, so always check us out on remfit.com. We have an active blog on there, and really pretty slick website in terms of checking out what the makeup of all of our products are. We're pretty active on social media as well. So you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. Twitter is probably about the only thing we're not active on, but even YouTube. We have a couple hundred YouTube videos up all about rest and recovery. But if you search Rem Fit, you're going to find us. So just search Rem Fit and all that stuff. You'll find what you're looking for. And then remfit.com is our website, which will link to all of our social stuff too.
Well, very good. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to the Future Tech Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies such as artificial intelligence, stem cells, 3D printing, gene editing, Bitcoin, blockchain, the microbiome, quantum computing, virtual reality, and exploring space are much closer than you might think. In fact, many early versions of these technologies are in play right now, and the companies that are using these technologies are the focus of this podcast. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a thorny medical problem. Remember, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about it. Thank you.